Season 4 of Bridgerton Part 1 just dropped and I'm obsessed. So grab your tea, or shall I say be the tea, and let's break down 5 things Bridgerton Season 4 Part 1 teaches us about love, relationship, and self-worth. Dear gentle reader, welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Antonina. I am certified mindfulness and yoga instructor. And lesson number 1, let's start from the main characters of that season, which is Benedict and Sophie. This particular lesson, the fantasy trap, is gonna be dedicated more towards Benedict. So we have the main character, Benedict, and we kind of know his we know that he's very artistic and he likes to experiment, obviously. He doesn't want the common girl and he's not ready to settle. But what we see in this case about the fantasies that I'd like to highlight is that he sees a girl on the ball who is right away catches his eye because she's just interested in the event, she's curious, she's alive on the ball, she's not on the hunt to find a husband, and she's not under the control of the society norms and all of it. She's there just for the experiment. So obviously this sheer live look, just excitement to be there at the moment, more at the present moment, this energy attracts him, catches his eye, and he invites her for the dance. And what more surprisingly, she is a lady over there at that society, she says, I cannot dance, it's something new. And that's even more sparks his curiosity. So while, well, like everything goes perfect, and she leaves at the most exciting moment. So, by the way, sometimes life hacks how to be remembered to the first dates. It's very good advice just to leave a little bit earlier or stop the conversation when it's very interesting, because it's good not to overshare at the beginning. And Benedict, in this situation, he is like consumed by the fantasy. He, even more, the more time passes, he makes this fantasy of her. He even says somewhere at the point that I don't even remember how she really looks and all of those things, and we can see later that he doesn't recognize her. But let's say this way, if we talk about the real, like why he didn't recognize, because he had something super perfect, and the more time passes, the real people don't match this perfect image in his mind. The more time passes, the more perfect it becomes, and he doesn't even remember what was there in their real conversation. So in real life, we tend to sometimes especially, it applies to all areas of our life, but especially into dating and when we're looking for the significant other, we have the list. And sometimes some people have this list way too long. Sometimes there are some traits that cannot coexist in one person, like someone to have the man who's like very ambitious, who has their business and money and status, and over there at the same time the woman might want for him to spend all the time with her, which is obviously not possible. But let's get back to the fantasy thing. So in this particular case, this is such a good example. They managed to show it, where he has this image in his life of his perfect someone, and in the real life, his perfect someone, actually same person, right? He doesn't recognize her. She's in front of him, but not perfect. She's a maiden. He doesn't even think about it for a long time to consider her someone worthy or someone who might match his dream, even because she comes from like lower social status. But the more they communicate, the more they find out about each other, he's attracted to her. But still, you can, like, all of the people on social media says like, Benedict, what are you doing, and even offering to be mistress and all of those things. And like, how can you not recognize her, like, while she's there? But well, in Benedict's defense, in the books, actually 2 years have passed since he saw her, and Sophie had a little bit rough time after she was fired from the job. Here we see that sometimes, well, we have this perfect picture in our life. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's about house, about job, about certain people, certain something, achieving a dream, and all of it. And we forget to look that sometimes this picture might be there in front of your eyes. And here's the thing, that fantasy will always be better than reality because it's not real. It has no flaws, and real person will always have some flaws. And they're not perfect, and that's why sometimes some people prefer to live into fantasy instead of trying the real relationship. Reality, at the end of the day, will always win over fantasy because it's real. And lesson number 2 is gonna be, I'd like to talk about one of the cool scene over there is Sophie's power move. Oh girl, I loved it. When Sophie basically kicks out Benedict from his own house. Well, she's there, the maid, like, all right boy, I like the job, you can stay in my cottage. The cool thing about Sophie, like, yeah, she's clearly on lower ranks, on lower status than him. Moreover, then she works for his house and all for Benedict's house and all of it. But still though, while they started to communicate and from the beginning would respect her despite her situation, she wouldn't put herself as a dignity lower. She would talk to him as an equal, with respect. And that's also one of the good lessons to learn. Sometimes in reality, we want to start a relationship with someone of higher status, but we might be too. But the main thing is to talk to someone as partners, not like someone less or smaller. Or even with boss and on jobs or something, you still communicate and you protect your boundaries, you speak about yourself, and inside you respect yourself as well as a human being, because at the end of the day we are equal, and the roles might be different. And even the end where we all were like, be my mistress, she leaves him. Obviously I think everybody would do this because this was stupid. She doesn't agree on it. Whereas for example, like in the first seasons or the second season, Benedict already had a mistress of seamstress. She was on a better status, by the way, anyway, but she was his mistress. But in this situation, she said she refused. Although it was let's say this, under those circumstances, a marriage was not an option because she was like, at that point, like they were a different class. Yeah, that was kind of not a very bad option for her, and she refused because of the respect to herself. Lesson number 3, I'll call this lesson the beauty of calm love. So let's talk about Francesca John. And in this particular moment while we're gonna talk about this, I'll just pretend that all Michaela situation is not yet there and I'll be completely delulu that's what's going to happen. We'll just take the sheer fact that Francesca is married to John and she's not reaching her pinnacle, not because she is into Michaela, she's into cousins, she's into some particular cousins, but because she doesn't know herself yet. Their story started very like calm, without that sparkles, that passion that we see all of the episodes, all of the seasons are built on, and we obviously watch the shows for those kind of plots. So we see that drama, like I love you from the moment I saw you climbing the wall, or like I burned for you, and like you the backbone of my existence and the reason of all of my desires. Oh, so romantic. But yes, in real life, most of the times good marriages, good couples, like the real adults, they're built on comparatively calm love. What I absolutely loved about Francesca and John is that they showed us what mature, honest communication may look like, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it gets against every social norm they've been taught. Because we know what society they were raised into. They were where people do not talk about what's happening in the bedroom, do not talk about desires and all of it. It may be flamed, and you cannot even talk to your mom or friends about that. Although I love that Francesca attempted, and it was so sweet when she tried to talk to Violet, Bridgerton, and then to Penelope, trying to figure out what's going on with her. There's the scene where they talk openly the way it is about the very uncomfortable and kind of forbidden subject to discuss with, about their intimacy. And you know what? The real intimacy was not what they were doing, but how they were opening up, especially Francesca. And I did appreciate that they show that she didn't do it from the very first time. She said that everything is okay, that obviously everything is okay, because she thought maybe she's something wrong with her. And I did like when John didn't pressure her. He asked her calmly, did she reach the pinnacle or not? And she confessed no. And then she says that she has never reached it, and she was just too ashamed and shy to say it. After that, John just calmly said that that's okay, there is nothing wrong with her. They'll figure it out and all of it, and the scene ended on the very nice and sweet conversation. And I'll just say I'd like to see those scenes more on the TV, so that younger people and just all of the people see how those real intimate moments might look like, not just passion and throwing stuff and having amazing animal or not animal physical activity, but the talks about something very uncomfortable, being vulnerable, being not sure, but when sharing and listening to each other, not blaming. And John also, what I liked, he didn't took it personally. First of all, he didn't blame her. He said, everything is okay with you, there's nothing wrong with you. And secondly, he didn't took it personally on wounded ego or something that he's not enough. No. We're so conditioned by media to think relationships need to be this constant roller coaster of passion and drama and conflict. But real, sustainable love, a lot of times it looks like Francesca and John, two people who can sit together, be honest, even when it's awkward, and work through things as a team without ego getting in the way. Sometimes the best relationships are a steady one where you can talk about everything. Number 4, the ego of being the different one. Let's talk about Eloise, because this season really pulled back the curtain on something I think all need to examine in ourselves. Eloise has always been portrayed as not like the other girls. She's intellectual, she questions society, she doesn't want to go follow the traditional path. And that's great, but this season showed us shadow side of that identity ego. Because we know that Eloise is, she's more like pro-feminist, pro-modern views over there. She doesn't want to marry. And we even know that with Daphne and over the seasons where she would want just to talk on the topics that she's personally interested in, and she wouldn't want to listen a lot about something that is interesting, like marriages or balls and all of those things that she has zero interest in from other people. Briefly want to remind that sometimes there might be two sides of the same coin. Like she judges basically and doesn't accept that other like traditional paths. There are some, even right now, there are some situations where women are judging others for wanting traditional paths, for wanting who see their realization in being a mother and then being a good wife, and that's it. Like true feminism is just not being judged, is not being banned from doing anything. It's like when the woman is free to choose whatever she wants to do, either to follow traditional paths or more modern paths, or invent her own paths. And basically it applies for all humans, not to be judged by society, by other people. It also reminds sometimes in the modern spirituality, when you have some realizations and you want to, sometimes there is this tendency to think that you're better than others, like that you maybe, those who practice more, maybe they even achieved something in yoga or in personal development with psychology and all of it. There's like tons of information right now, and there might be like others are beneath me, and maybe sometimes those others may not know everything you do, but it doesn't mean that they are beneath you, because then it makes the ego, the spiritual ego, is sometimes even worse than the simple ego, because it's harder to see. You think you know better. And here we can see with Eloise that everything that she wants to talk about, she thinks she's the right one. Everything she wants to talk about is basically herself. And the scene where Hyacinth talks to Eloise and says like, I used to think that you were not interested to spend time with me in my interest, and now I realize that you're not interested in anybody's else's interest. That everything that you're interested in is you and your interests. So that was a pretty powerful reminder, I would say so. Sometimes too, when we don't agree with other people, it doesn't mean they are necessarily wrong. And finally, I'm gonna talk about this iconic scene, I am the tea you're having. Oh man, that was so good. Well, I think I want a cup now. I really do want a cup now. Personally, I'm the coffee drinker, but after that scene, I might switch sides. Violet's storyline explores something we don't see enough. It's sexuality, desire, and self-discovery in later years. I mean, right now in modern society, we do see those stories a little bit more, but it's still a little bit more banned, not yet widely, openly discussed and accepted. Usually, sometimes they think that once you hit certain age, you go and just your task is just, or be a good grandma or and just rest on the shelf or whatever. And they portrayed pretty good the way how you still have your life and you may enjoy it fully. So we have a woman who's already had great love story with Edmund, her first husband, and he passed away, and for years she would dedicate herself for her children to make sure all of them are getting married, all of them are doing good, and all of those, pouring everything into her children. Finally, she's choosing herself, at least for one evening, saying like, nope, I need some tea, girl. Nope, the garden isn't blooming, so we have to use that. And this is so important, especially for women. Society loves to put women in boxes based on age, life stage, and all of it. Once you're a mother, once you've been married, once you hit a certain age, you're supposed to just fade into background, become invisible, only exist in service to others? Violet says absolutely not, at least for one evening. She's allowed to explore, to desire, to put herself first. Her life isn't over just because one chapter closed. She started a new chapter with Lady Dansbury's brother. Beautiful reminder that you don't have an expiration date on living fully, on exploring who you are and choosing yourself, whether you're 25, 55, or well, 75 or whatever. Thank you for staying with me for this video. Share your thoughts and comments on what you agree or disagree, or what was your favorite scene or lesson here. Subscribe and stay if you like it, because I'm gonna do the part 2s as soon as it drops. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to rewatch I Am the Tea You're Having for the 17th time. If you see me watching it again and again, I want to, don't save me. Thank you. Bye, loves.